This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smokin Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down.
Yeah, we're going to break this down today. We have the Wrestletalk show. My name's Ralph Williams, along with my co-host Smokin Jim Frazier by telephone. And also, we will be talking a lot today. We're only going to be on for a half hour today. We don't have a guest, but next week, I have Kanan Christopher will join us next week. Kanan Christopher, who is a local independent wrestler and also wrestled. When I spoke to him yesterday, he was with the WWE in Nashville for Raw, which we're going to talk about throughout the show here today, AEW news. And we're going to talk about some of the cuts in the WWE. There's been some cuts, some wrestlers of notoriety. Wait do you hear who some of them are? Sonya Deville and a bunch of others that have been cut from the roster as well. They're always making some kind of cuts in the WWE. AEW starting to do it as well. I've said it many times that the Khan family now, the Tony Khan's upper side of the family, the father and whatnot, have had enough of his exuberant spending, and they're not making the money that they thought they were making, and they're in a hole every year since they've opened up. So that's no way to do business. But now the picnic's over for Tony Khan. His family's now starting to step up and crack the whip a little bit and say, hey, wait a minute, we got to start doing some stuff here. So, all right, Smokin Jim, welcome back to the Wrestletalk show. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Ralph. This is my favorite thing to do all week.
All right. We're going to be on for a half an hour tonight, as I mentioned, because we don't have a guest tonight. I was working on T. Ranchula once again for tonight, but he hurt his back and also next week has a council meeting, but assured me he will be on Tuesday before the 27th event of February down at the Enclave. And speaking of that, Smokin Jim, to get started, we're going to go over some of the events coming up here in independent wrestling all across Pittsburgh here. First of all, this week's event, this Saturday, Rise at the venue in North for Sales, postponed. Will be rescheduled for another time. Rise, R-Y-S-E, they are out of the Uniontown Mall, but occasionally work their way towards Pittsburgh. They were going to start doing events at the venue in North for Sales, but they have postponed their event for this week, so it will not be happening at all this week. So mark that down on your calendar. Postponed the event this week for Rise Wrestling at the venue as I mentioned, has been postponed. All right. Also, I want to talk a little bit about last week. We had Dean Radford on here. If you're interested in becoming a professional wrestler, and you'll go through the Rise Wrestling company. If you're interested in getting started in wrestling, reach out to Stronghold Training Center, which is the training center for Rise Wrestling, which is owned by Dean Radford, who was here last week on our show. So check out the Stronghold Training Academy if you're interested in becoming a professional wrestler. Don't forget Saturday, February 27th or 22nd, 6:05 p.m. at the Langley American Legion Post 496 Chartiers Avenue in Sheridan. Tickets, front row and stage, $20. KSWA in their 25th and final season doing wrestling. I tell you what, man, they really put on a great show. KSWA, check it out in Sheridan on Saturday, February 22nd. General admissions, $15. Front row and stage, $20 for tickets. And I tell you what, that's not bad. And it's at the VFW Post, or American Legion Post, in Sheridan. So don't forget to check that out, KSWA. Also, March the 15th, this event Smokin Jim and I will be at. It's a Saturday up at the Ross Township Community Center. The Pros of Wrestling, who just had Wrestle Rex this past Saturday. I'm going to show you a photo of me with Congo Kong. Or a selfie I took with him. Corey Graves will be there, as well as Stan the Man Hansen will be joining us as well for this event. So it's going to be an interesting event to attend. I would. It's also in honor of Bruno Sammartino and Bob Michelucci, who happens to be one of the number one guys in trading tickets and cards. He will be there as well. If you have any cards or tickets or anything you want to trade, Bob will be there for you as well. FNW. Where do you see this match? Falls Count Anywhere match. Tarantula versus Vic Braun. Wow. That's going to be a great main event. FNW. It'll be live at the Enclave. 6:30 doors open, 7:30 bell time. And I tell you what, that is one heck of a match. Check that out. Smokin Jim and I will be there February 27th. It's a Thursday night, 7:30 bell time, 6:30 doors open for the Enclave Theater on the south side of town. All right. Also, this is the event I'm talking about that's postponed. The Rise event from this Saturday at the venue. This event has been postponed. So if you have tickets, get a hold of RiseWrestling.com to find out details on any refunds for any tickets. All right, and then we also have that, which we just talked about. That was this past week involving Rise. Let me see what else we have here. I know Erie's got something going on in a couple of weeks. Victory of Violence. This is March 21st, Friday night, 6:30 doors open, 7:00 bell time at the Pitt Greensburg campus. Check this out, Victory of Violence Live Pro Wrestling. That will be on, that is March the, let's see here, March the 20, I think it's the 23rd. Yeah, March the 23rd, or Friday night, March the 22nd, 23rd it is. And then we have some more matches coming up until March, and then I'll get the schedule from there. Erie All-Star Wrestling, February 22nd is their next event at the Saga Club on Washington Avenue in downtown Erie, Pennsylvania. Check that out. So on February 22nd and March 15th as well, Erie Pro Wrestling. All right. Smokin Jim Frazier, welcome to the show. Anything you want to talk about before we get started here about any of these events?
No, I tell you what, I'm excited, man. Look at everything that's happening in Pittsburgh in terms of wrestling, man. That's great.
Yeah, we have some great independent wrestling companies here, and some of them support us. Others don't want to return my phone calls, and that's fine. That's their loss, not mine. So we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, Jay. Jay says, oh, I remember Bruno. Yes, Bruno Sammartino. He's from the Ross Township area and outside of the North Hills section of Pittsburgh. So
Hey, Ralph.
yes.
Hey, Ralph. Do you know where Bruno Sammartino went to high school?
Let me guess. Gateway, right?
Close. Shenley High School. He was a Shenley Spartan, brother.
Get out of here. For real.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Wow. I didn't know that. And then Jay says, how much do tickets cost for these types of matches? For these types of events, Jay, around here, the biggest cost probably is about $20. And that's for front row, and 15 or 10. And some of them charge even less than that. All depends on what's going on. You got a lot of these pop-up stuff going on, Jay, in independent wrestling now. Companies everywhere, all over the place. The whole Western Pennsylvania area and parts of central Pennsylvania are flooded with all these companies. I mean, it's great, but there's a lot of companies now. I mean, if you live like in Johnstown, you can go see, 814 Wrestling down in Altoona. And, or if you go to, let's say, if you live here in Pittsburgh, there's several that you can go to. If you live in Indiana, you can go to Bubba's. He has events in Indiana and Johnstown. Rise Wrestling in Uniontown. West Virginia has Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, all over the place. Smokin' Jim and I, when we had the Sports Corner radio show on Beaver County Radio, we interviewed a guy named Randy, who was a professional wrestler up in Michigan, up in the Detroit area, who happens to be the nephew of a friend of mine named George Eichhorn, who is a very prominent reporter and an icon in broadcasting up in the Detroit area as well. You can catch his stuff on the South Florida Tribune. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that is all, Jay. It's really not that expensive. And they put stuff in old malls, stuff like that. Like Rise is in the Uniontown Mall, because that mall is just like, and Smokin' Jim will contest to that. We have a lot of malls around here. Some of them are like Century 3 Mall. Phil Fleck, who we've had on this program, had his matches going on there. I'm not sure where he's at nowadays, but I know he was there. He was doing his wrestling matches there. So it says, if you want to do a giveaway, I'll spot you $50 for 2 tickets bundle for someone to go watch a show, maybe in March or something. Maybe it'll get some new subscribers. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, I know someone who reports on the internet or on YouTube, and he's giving away a belt for for his 100,000th subscriber. He's giving away a WWE belt of your choice. So I'm not going to say the person's name because he doesn't help us out. So yeah, I know George. He wrote Scott's foreword to his book. Yes, he did. All right. Okay, Smokin' Jim, let's get started. Your thoughts on, we'll start with Friday Night SmackDown since that was the latter, last week's SmackDown. Your thoughts on the return of Solo Sikoa, and he took out Cody Rhodes. Do you see a match coming between them two?
I'm not sure, but I was surprised to see Solo. I didn't know, if he was going to disappear for a while, but man, he put a hurting on Cody at the end of the SmackDown, and he left you. Can't wait to see him. Again, and maybe talk and tell us what the future for Solo is going to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that I don't know. There's rumors out there Solo was going to back up with Roman Reigns and Usos and the new bloodline, but Roman's hurt right now from the Royal Rumble. In case you forgot, he got stomped twice by Seth Rollins, and then on top of that, he got kicked around too by CM Punk. So, and everybody and their mother was out to get Roman Reigns in revenge from when he was the champ and held on to the belt all that time and whatnot. He pissed so many people off. I think the whole Royal Rumble ring practically went after him. So I mean, so we're going to find out what happens with this here, and we'll keep you up to speed here on Wrestletalk as to what's really going to happen with all that as well. We now know who Jey Uso is going to fight in WrestleMania. It's going to be against Gunther. I'm wondering if this is the end of Gunther's reign as champion. I can't say that it will be, but then again, you never know. I don't know if they want to go with Jay as a champion. I do know whoever wins this Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up will be fighting Cody Rhodes. You have a good bunch of guys in that right now. You have CM Punk, and unfortunately, we have Logan Paul in this thing. I was kind of hoping he'd lay an egg last night, but of course that didn't happen. I guess lightning doesn't strike twice. It struck at Royal Rumble, but it's not striking for the Elimination Chamber. So, anyway, I meant the lightning to take him down. That's what I meant. So, anyway, so there we are with that, with Logan Paul, and you got CM Punk, you got Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul. So we're going to find out exactly who else is going to be in this thing here, and you got Finn Balor now going after Seth Rollins. You just got a lot of battles going on here. You got Judgment Day and Frenzy here. The Wyatt Six, Bo Dallas, who plays Uncle Howdy, is no longer with the group right now. He's got a long-term injury of some kind, so he's not out. He's going to be out for a while. May not even come back. From what I'm hearing, it's a bad injury. I don't know what it is. Who's going to be part of the Wyatt Six moving forward? You got a lot of changes in both wrestling companies. You got Bianca Belair in the women's match, her and Naomi. Are they going to stick together? When's Jay Cargill coming back? There's just a lot of questions and a lot of things going on right now. Smokin' Jim, what are your thoughts on some of this stuff?
I tell you what, man, that's why we continue to tune in each week, man, because there's storyline after storyline after storyline after storyline. But Alexis Bliss is back, man. That surprised me a little bit, and she's doing pretty good.
Yeah, she's in the Elimination Chamber match, and I was actually quite surprised as far as that with that, because I didn't think she would be in it that quickly. I thought she'd have to work her way up. But I'll tell you who really blew it last night was hold on a second. Let me see who we got here. Okay, here we are. All right. Yeah. All right. I was getting up the list here of who's out for the WWE. Some of the guys they released. So let me see here. Jay has a comment question for us here. WWE better or worse post Vince McMahon? Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
Worse.
You think so?
I mean, it's still great, but there's no replacing Vince McMahon. That's my guy.
Yeah, I think Triple H is doing what he can. I mean, I know he moved up Shawn Michaels to help him out, and then he's got and he brought in Scott D'Amore to run NXT, formerly of the of TNA. So all right. Here's the WWE cuts. This is from Forbes magazine. Isla Dawn out. All right. Let's see here. Giovanni Da Vinci out. Let's see who else. Gallows and Anderson out. Cut. The WWE roster moves and shakeups. Here's some more here. Sonya Deville, Cedric Alexander, Akeem and Razor of the AOP once again cut again. They've been cut a few times. Paul Ellering cut. Duke Hudson, Blair Davenport. That was a shocker right there. She was doing pretty good for herself. She kept sticking into things here. But the question here is now, Smokin' Jim, where do these factions go? Pure Fusion Collective, you've got Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler. The Last Testament now, does that shut down with Karrion Kross and the gang? And the Unholy Union, the OC. I mean, these are all factions that were put together with some of these wrestlers involved. What are your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
Man, you got to give me your opinion on that, Ralph. Because wow, man, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think Sonya Deville was kind of a surprise, but I know she made waves when she was part of the All right. Well, whatever that is. So anyway, but thank you for watching. So anyhow, I was talking about the comment section there. But Sonya Deville was kind of surprised, but I'm not surprised. The reason I say that is because she was involved in a situation when she was in charge. She got a little bitter when they cut her out, and she had to come back to wrestling. I know that she really kind of didn't want to really do that, and the WWE kind of played around with it, and so I think by getting rid of her, that conquers that problem. And then Cedric Alexander, he was dead weight, wasn't doing anything. A lot of these people that they cut are guys who really weren't even doing. I mean, what was the Final Testament doing? You think about that, Smokin' Jim. Think about it for a minute. What was the Final Testament doing?
Good point, bro.
Nothing. Absolutely zero. What were they doing? They were barely on. And when they were, did they find anybody? Maybe. Okay. They were in a feud with the Wide Six, which of course, like you say, Smokin' Jim. Okay, about whether the question is, can Vince McMahon, is Triple H better than Vince McMahon at running the company right now? I don't like the fact that they waste talent time. If I'm talent and I'm trying to make a name for myself, I want as much TV time as I can. But if you can't put me in there creatively, I need to be able to walk away. And for some people, getting cut, Smokin' Jim, does them a benefit because they can go somewhere else and they can be a star. They can go to TNA, they can go to MLW, they can go to ROH, they can go to AEW perhaps. They can go run around the independents. Okay? They can look at Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, when he was I forget his name, the Long Island IC here in the WWE. Oh gosh, man, his name strikes. I'll have it. I'll have it before the show's over. Zack Ryder. That was his name, Zack Ryder. Okay, and they didn't know what to do with him here in the WWE, and now he's going all across the country and the world. I mean, he's in New Japan Wrestling, won every belt all across the different wrestling companies. He's held every belt. He's in independent wrestling. He's been back and forth between TNA, AEW, ROH. He just fought Chris Jericho for the ROH title. I mean, take a look at that guy. Okay? Take a look at Dolph Ziggler, how he's resurrected his career in TNA. Mustafa Ali just re-signed. Okay? Who else? Top Dollar playing AJ Curtis. Look at how, he's doing okay. I mean, you got guys who are resurrecting their careers. The Hardys. The Hardys went back home. They did really well in TNA. They did good in ROH. They did good in AEW or wherever they were. Okay? WWE, they never, they were okay. They were okay after they left the first couple times. Okay? When they tried to come back this last time, it wasn't all that great. Okay? So, I mean, it bounces up and down like a ball with talent like that. But maybe Gallows and Anderson will find their way back to TNA like they have in the past. Maybe, sometimes you always go back to what works. And if that's what it is, then there we are. So Jay says the best faction of all time is the NWO, Four Horsemen, Fabulous Freebirds, Evolution, The Shield, the Hart Foundation, D-Generation X, the Bloodline, the Wyatt family, and the Hart Foundation. So, best of all time, Smokin' Jim. Which one do you really think it is?
The first one he mentioned.
NWO. Yeah, I agree. Four Horsemen, too. I think there were a lot of good factions.
Yeah, Four Horsemen was great, too.
Yeah, Four Horsemen. They set the standard for factions. They were the ones that actually got it started. The Freebirds. I mean, the Freebirds, man, they also were there. There's a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. The Wyatt family was okay. The Wyatt family just didn't get I don't think it ever got the play that it needed to really do, a lot of stuff. Jay also said, whoops, put the Hart Foundation in twice. That's okay, Jay. Don't worry about it. We got you. But anyway, but all right, let's talk. We got about 5 minutes left in the show here. Let's talk about AEW a little bit, Smoking Jim. Your thoughts on MJF now attacking and going after Dustin Rhodes because of the
Man,
nonsense he
that was
pulled with
pretty.
Jeff Jarrett? What is your thoughts on MJF going after Dustin Rhodes?
Oh man, he's just funny, man. They were going back and forth. They were doing some rapping and they were doing some ripping and playing the dozens a little bit, man. But yeah, he tried to get in there. Dustin attacked him when he tried to say, you're jealous of your little brother. He's more successful, and he kind of whacked him.
Yeah.
But that's good, man. I tell you what, I live for MJF and I live for Don Callis, man. I can't get enough of those two.
Yeah, he's adding to the faction. He got Mark Davis there with him now. So, big Mark Davis. So, but yeah, he keeps on adding and adding to the faction, and that's great news. I mean, that's good for Don Callis' family. He's building himself a big family. So there you go. And I hear the Hurt Syndicate's trying to add another member. I know Swerve has turned him down. Ricochet, I'm not sure what they're doing with him yet, because Ricochet's been going after Swerve, and him and Swerve been going round and round, and they got a few battles going here over at AEW and a few things going on. We're gonna find out what happens to them. Jay said Jeff Jarrett versus the Honky Tonk Man. Who was better? Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim Frazier. Jay's question.
Well, I guess it just depends on your taste, man, because they were both outstanding. What do you think, Will?
I think Jeff Jarrett was a better wrestler. Honky Tonk Man was a good wrestler, but I think Jeff Jarrett was better. He was a way better wrestler. So, I mean, I like Honky Tonk Man. He was good at what he did. He had a good personality, and was good with the microphone. That kind of thing. Did his little Elvis thing. So but yeah, I think so. How'd you like that match last night with the War Raiders and the American Made last night for the title? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, the War Raiders surprised me. I didn't think that they could, at that size, I didn't think that they could go as long as they did. Man, they got great stamina, man. I already knew that they was pretty agile for their size, but man, that was a long match, man. I was like, woo, these big boys is hanging in there.
Oh, yeah.
It was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of wrestlers. By the way, I wanted to say MJF is like a young Randy Orton. Remember when Randy Orton used to call himself the Legend Killer? Remember that? He used to go after all the legends and take them out. That's who MJF reminds me of right now. He's going after all these legends, that in wrestling. So, but yeah, I agree with you on the War Raiders. I mean, I didn't think they'd be able to go as long either. They're usually a quick one and done, get in there, get out of there kind of guys. But they had some competition. Those Creed brothers are well trained. I mean, they really showed me something last night, a little bit there. Who do you take next week? Next Friday, Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Tagna or whatever they call it there next Friday on SmackDown. You think the Machine Guns can come back from this devastating losses and all that stuff that's going on? Smokin' Jim. You there? I think he's off the air here. No, he's still here. You there, Smokin' Jim? I don't know what happened. Oh well. Well, I don't know. Maybe he got lost in a bingo game. I don't know. So, all right. And Jay says here, did you guys see the Macho Man commercial with the Super Bowl? Not sure who that guy is, but he looks like Randy Macho Man Savage. Well, it's not. It's called L.A. Knight. That's who it is that did that that does that commercial now. And L.A. Knight is, he's a combination of The Rock these days. He has, he's good with the microphone, and he's got some Stone Cold kind of moves. So who knows? Maybe he was trained by both guys. I don't know, but he's basically, L.A. Knight's one of my favorite wrestlers. Always has been. He was Eli Drake back in TNA. Always been a good wrestler. Smokin' Jim, you there? I don't know what happened to Smokin' Jim. Oh, well. All right, for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. We're going to wrap this up today. Sorry we didn't keep the show for an hour.
Hey,
but
Ralph, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
that's all right.
I apologize.
I thought you got lost in a bingo game or something there. But anyway,
yeah. Hey, can I ask you one question before we go?
Go ahead.
Jay is just so popular right now. Do you think that he's going to get the belt over Gunther because of the popularity? I mean, when he comes out, the crowd just goes crazy, man. Wow.
Yeah, I think he is. I think that's what they're going to have to bank themselves on. I heard a story that I don't know if it's true. There's rumors out there that excuse me, Triple H got himself in the doghouse with TKO because TKO doesn't want Jey Uso. They wanted somebody else to win the Royal Rumble match, like John Cena or somebody. And Smokin' Jim decided, how are you, Pensman? How's everything? And Smokin' Jim's with us. And then Jay Pensman says, what's up, Jay? And thank you, Pensman Sports. But anyhow, Triple H, the original plan was not to have Jay win that. Triple H switched that up. I'm not sure, but his popularity, like you said, is really good. Gunther has a piss poor, his mic skills are okay. He's a good wrestler, but it's just I don't think he's Jey Uso. If Vince McMahon was running the company, he would call him what he called Kofi Kingston and what he called Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, a B-plus player. Okay, that's exactly how Jey Uso is classified in the wrestling business right now. All right,
okay.
As far as a singles wrestler, okay, as a B-plus player, that's exactly what I think Vince McMahon would classify Jey Uso if he was still here. If Vince McMahon was still running the company, he would classify Jey Uso as a B-plus player. But Triple H sees something in him, and here we are. He's where he's at. I don't know if they're going to send Jey Uso. I think this might be the match that Jey Uso wins and finally gets a singles title, another singles title, and finally wins a championship and really be main event Jey Uso. You see what I'm saying? The one I'm concerned about is Cody. Are they going to keep it on him? Because you got Seth. If you got CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul in that Elimination Chamber match, and if Seth Rollins finds some way to weasel his way back into it, or something to that effect, or get a match, I think he's fighting Finn Balor for a spot next week or something. If he gets in it, if I'm Cody Rhodes, man, I don't know, because you've got some talent coming at you. You see what I'm getting at? I think he has more talent coming at him than Gunther with Jey Uso. You think about that for a second.
That's true.
Think about the talent in the Elimination Chamber right now. Just CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul. If Seth gets in there, that's going to be, that's going to be talent right there. Really good, top-notch winning talent. Okay? And AJ Styles is back. Who knows where he's going to go? You know what I mean?
And
what he's
in shape. And he's in shape. He's ripped, isn't he?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Everybody that comes back from an injury, they have time to work out. They have time to get themselves back in shape, and they get themselves back in shape better than they did when they were wrestling. I mean, take a look at Randy Orton. Look how chiseled he is.
Yeah. Only thing that Cody Rhodes can hope for is that Kevin Owens takes out some more of his competitors.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sami Zayn. Well, you know what? Well, what did I tell you? What did I tell you when he took out Randy Orton?
Yeah,
Didn't I tell you he should have been fired?
Should be fired.
Fired. Gone. You're taking out all his talent. I mean, come on. I mean, now WWE got egg on their face, and I'll say it like that because I know there's a shortage of eggs, and 100,000 eggs got stolen from a company at Central PA or whatever. But all right, I get that. But the WWE has egg on their face because they didn't fire Kevin Owens, And now
Mhm.
when they keep cutting wrestlers and they don't have anybody to fill in, what happens on Monday Night Raw? You got too much talking going on and not enough wrestling because you don't have
Right.
enough talent. All your good talent is hurt, and all your bad talent, some of the ones that you did get rid of, now you're probably going to be sorry you didn't get rid of some of these guys because you need them to
Right.
fill in, whether
Right.
they stink or not. You need them to fill in. I mean,
Right.
it's really awful. Pensman said Cody's elbow needs to be flushed out. Yes, I heard about that. Pensman says, I wish Cena won. Cena never won a Royal one Rumble. Would have been awesome if he had won. Yeah, I would have. I thought he was going to win. I was told he was going to win to go to. He's already, I believe he's in the Elimination Chamber. That's the other talent that's in there smoking Jim's, John Cena.
Mhm.
And
Right.
he's looking to go out on top. He's looking to get
Yeah.
that 17th belt so he could beat Ric Flair.
Yeah.
So it says Jay says I don't like John Mayo Cena. I like that one. That's a good one. Jay went ha ha. And then Pensman said, "You can't see me, Jay." There you go. That's a good. I like that one. There you go. And then I only understand it when it says Mandarin Pensman. There we go. All right. But anyhow, and one other thing I wanted to ask you, Smoking Jim. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if I remember. We talked last week about this. Looks like Charlotte Flair and Andrade are divorcing.
Wow.
They are divorcing, and 3 years of marriage. He wants to start a family. He doesn't. I know she's going on 41 years old. I don't know if she's at the age where she wants to have a child. I think she wants to continue her wrestling career. And, don't seem like, no offense to Charlotte, nice woman and all, nice, good wrestler. Don't seem like the family type to me. So,
Right.
I mean, maybe she doesn't want to end her career because, she don't want to be like Becky Lynch, who has a child. Candice LeRae has her and Johnny Wrestling there, Gargano. They have a child. I mean, they're then you got to juggle your schedules, So, but but we'll see what happens. I mean, as far as that goes, and I know I don't even know if Becky Lynch is ever coming back. She's in movies. She's writing books, staying home, taking care of the child. Seth's doing all the legwork in the wrestling business. I don't know if Becky will ever come back. I don't know. I can't say. I mean, we'll see. If WWE needs her and the money's right, like Rodney Dangerfield once said, if the roast beef's right, you'll be back. Well, guess what? If the money's right, they'll be back. Right? How many times have we seen in professional sports? The money's right, they'll be back.
Yeah.
So we'll see what goes on. All right, for Smoking Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. We're going to wrap things up here. And next week, don't forget, we're going to have Kanan Christopher joining us. And then also the Tuesday before the February 25th, T. Ranchula will finally join us. T. Ranchula will join us here on Wrestletalk. I told you I'm the booking machine. When I can get the guests, I can get them. But we'll see from there. Final comments here before we go here on the comment line. Whatever happened to CM Punk's wife? Well, AJ Lee keeps saying she's coming back. Don't know. I don't know. She was on Women of Wrestling there for a little while. I haven't seen her for a little bit, so I don't know. Pensman said taking care of the kid, which is the dog that they have. They do not have kid CM Punk and AJ Lee. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that makes sense, says Jay. Yes. All right. For Smoking Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Thank you for being part of Wrestletalk. We'll see you next week and have a great one. Don't forget, Kanan Christopher next week right here on Wrestletalk. Have a good night and thank you for watching.